Hello and welcome to IP Study Video Lectures. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 10 of Grade 6 Social Science. The chapter name is Our Government. So yes, I am sure that most of you would hear the term government on the news, or when elders are talking at your home. You would hear things like the government is doing this or it is not able to do that. So all these things you hear often. So you understand that government actually plays a very important role in our lives. But what exactly is government? What are the different needs and functions it performs? At how many levels does it work? What are the different organs of the government and what are its various types? So we are going to study all these aspects in this chapter. So coming to the basics, what exactly is government? Now, for that we need to understand how any system works. Take example of your school. In your school, there is a principal, maybe a vice principal, then some head teachers, other staff members. All of these people are working together to make the school run. So this is basically the management of your school. So just like that, in every country, there is some kind of management who are taking care of all the needs of that particular place. This system is called a government, right? So in a very simple way, we understand that government is responsible for making sure that everything that happens in a place is run smoothly in a manner where everyone is getting benefited out of it, right? So briefly we will discuss about the need for the government in any place. So let us discuss these points in a little bit of detail. So I will just zoom in a little bit. So yes, government ensures that there is law and order in the country. What is law and order? Law and order means that everything is run in the way it is supposed to be run. You would often see that whenever there is a fair or any event that is happening, you would always see police people who are there. Why? They want to make sure there is security, everything, because there are so many people, so those people have to be managed. So all that comes under law and order. Then you will see that various services are required. Houses require electricity, water supply, education, healthcare, all these services are also provided by the government. Now, registration of birth, death, marriages, this is also very important because you need to know your people. You need to know how many people are there, what diseases they have, when are they getting married. All this information is important for government because they need to make laws according to it, right? Then we have a very important function. The government also makes sure that they are defending the country against foreign aggression. It means that the countries which want to attack our country, we need to defend ourselves against them. So we have our armies and the government is making sure that our army is maintained and we have enough people to serve our country, right? So these are some of the important functions of the government. Unity and integrity of the country. What does this mean? Unity means that we all are living together as one people. We all are Indians, no matter which language we speak, which place we come from in this country, we all are one. And the government, through its policies, through different programs, even Republic Day parades, that's a very good example. Through all these things, the government is making sure that we live as a united country, right? And then of course the government works for the welfare of the people. It is making sure that there are development projects, there is development of infrastructure, roads, railways, all those things. So that is another importance of the governance, right? Moving forward, you can see some of the services that the government provides, right? You can see that it provides for healthcare, education, infrastructure, all these activities, postal services, communication. You can see all these services are so important, right? So all these services are together actually called public services. Why are these called public services? Because these services actually help people to live a better life. They are able to manage themselves in a better way, grow, and if people of a country grows, the country also grow, right? So that is another important aspect of being part of the government. So let us now move to the next important topic in this chapter. That topic is importance of laws. Now, what is a law? A law is basically a set of rules that has to be followed by everyone, right? It is not that it is to be followed by one or two person and it is exempted for another person. If that is the case, it is not fair, right? So the purpose of law is that only. We want to ensure that there is fairness, that there is basically order. There is no case of anarchy. What is anarchy? It is a case where there is lawlessness. There is no law. If everyone is doing of their free will, it is a problem. Why? Because it will give the right to another person to do something which can be wrong for the other person, right? So maybe you want to slap me, or somebody wants to kick someone else. These kind of things actually set a very bad example for the society, because your right is also there to be protected. So laws are there for everyone. It should not be abused. It should be same for everyone, and that is why we can make a good society, right? And all this is done by the government when we look at the concept of governance. What is governance? Basically, that laws are made. These laws are made with the point of view of ensuring justice for everyone, and then yes, these laws are also to be executed, enforced in reality. So this whole process comes under the definition of governance. So what does government do? Government governs people, and it is done through the process of governance, right? So as we understand that, we also understand that laws are there in every aspect of our life. It is not just the traffic rules. It is also the education you are receiving. It is also the health policies in a place. It is also the infrastructure. So everything, every aspect of our life, there are laws, and these laws are there to protect your individual rights, protect you basically, and to ensure that there is justice for everyone, there is fairness for everyone. And that is why if somebody breaks the law, you can go to the court, you can go to the judiciary to get that fixed. Basically, they will make sure that the person who is breaking the law is actually punished, right? So this is important for us to understand. Now, as we have discussed what are laws and why they are important, we need to understand how this happens practically. So for that, we need to understand about the functions of different organs of the government, right? So a government has basically three main branches. The first branch is actually making these laws, making these rules which are to be followed by everyone. This is called legislature or legislative, right? So legislative function of the government is making sure that laws are being made. In our country, there is parliament, and the parliament has two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So both of these houses are responsible for making of the laws. So the people in the parliament, our members of parliament, they go there, they discuss different aspects of what they want to make a law, and that is how they come up with the new laws, right? Then we also have executive. So executive is basically enforcing these laws. So once a law is made, then it is to be made sure that it is being followed by people. And who is checking this? It is the executive. So the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers who are working with the Prime Minister, the President, and yes, many other government officers, they all are part of this executive, right? And then we have judiciary. Now, if somebody has broken the law, who is going to decide what punishment is there to be for that person? It is the judiciary. So judiciary is basically a set of courts in our country. The highest court is Supreme Court, then there is High Court and other subordinate courts. All these make sure that if a law is broken, then there is suitable punishment for that person, so that other people do not repeat those offenses, they do not break the law. And that is how we ensure that our society is fair for everyone. It is a good place for everyone to live, right? So now let us understand how different organs of the government work together in a particular scenario. Take example of goods and services tax. Now, before 2017, there were different kind of taxes that were levied in our country. This created confusion. To have some kind of uniformity, to make the tax system easier for people who are doing business, goods and services tax was introduced. So the Parliament of India, basically the legislative body, framed the law for the entire country. And the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs came up with the enforcement part. So this is basically responsible for making sure that the GST is being implemented, that everyone is paying the GST and they are not facing any issues in doing so. And of course, if anybody breaks the laws, then it is the job of the judiciary, who is making sure that if somebody does not follow the norms, does not pay the GST, then they are punished. So in this manner, you will see that different organs of the government have different functions and they all are performing them so that a particular task is completed, right? Now, these are two very important concepts. We will discuss them in detail: separation of power and checks and balances. It is very important that all these three organs of government, legislative, executive and judiciary, that their powers and functions are well defined. And because they are well defined, they do not interfere in the functioning of each other. They all know what they have to do. Legislative knows that it has to frame the laws. Executive knows that it has to implement those laws, and judiciary knows that it has to punish the offenders, basically those who are not following the law, right? When there is clarity in the roles, there is lack of confusions, there is no chaos, there is no disturbance, right? And they also make sure that there is a system of checks and balances. So if a legislative, if they are making a law which is unfair, then the judiciary would be quick to point that out. Or if the executive, if the central government or state government does something which is not good for the people, again judiciary can point it out. And yes, even judiciary is checked by the other two organs of the government. Basically, if you see, the salaries of the judges and their removal is decided in the parliament. So all three organs of the government has a system of checks and balances, which is important to ensure smoothness in the functioning. Correct? Now, moving ahead to the next topic, it is levels of the government. Our government works at three levels. There is central level, there is state level, and there is local level, as you can see in this diagram. And each of them have their own unique functions. Basically, the central government, if you see, they look at the things which are concerning the entire nation. The state government is looking at the responsibilities which are there for the particular state, and the local government is looking at the local issues of the people, right? Now take example of roads. Now, there are some roads which are local roads and they are maintained by the local government. But then there are some roads which are connecting the parts of a state, different parts of a state. So, for that, the state government looks after those roads. And yes, there are some roads which are there for the entire country. Basically, those roads which are connecting two states. Now such roads are national highways and they are maintained by the central government. So you can see the purpose dictates whose function it is. If it is for the entire nation, it is the central or the union government. If it is for the particular state, it is the state government. And if it is concerning the local people in a region, then it is the local government. Moving on, it is also important for us to understand that the different organs of the government works at different levels as well. Now, if you look at legislative, for example, which is responsible for making laws, it is working at all the three levels. It is working at the union level, state level and the local level. So, the union legislative, which includes the parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they are making laws for the entire nation. The state level is inclusive of the Vidhan Sabha and the Vidhan Parishad, which is making laws for the state level. And then we have the local government, the municipalities and the panchayat system, which is making laws for the local level. And they also perform different functions. Like let us look at the functions of the central government. It is defense, it is foreign policy, nuclear energy, communication, currency and so on. Why these belong to the central government? Because these matters concern the entire nation. Most of these are concerned with the security of the nation, the unity of the nation, and that is why it is the central government who works on these matters. And of course, when it comes to the livelihood of people, agriculture, industry, all these come under the forte of the state government. And the local issues, basically the law and order in the local areas, local infrastructure like roads, basic education, all these come under the local government, right? Moving ahead, we need to learn about two very important positions in the government of our country. These positions are the positions of Prime Minister and the President. Here we have example of two exemplary Prime Ministers and Presidents of our country. First, we need to understand what function they perform. So Prime Minister is basically the head of the executive. He or she is responsible for making sure that all the policies are framed well and they are executed in the right manner. A Prime Minister is called the head of the government, whereas the President is called the head of the nation. He or she is normally called the first citizen of a country. If we actually look at their powers, we understand that the real powers are with the Prime Minister, whereas the President is normally called the nominal head or ceremonial head of the state, because he or she do not have the real powers which the Prime Minister has. But yes, they have many powers. They perform a lot of functions, and we are going to read about Abdul Kalam, who was actually the 11th President of India. He is often called the Missile Man of India. We know that he was a very inspiring personality who worked in the field of science and technology. He was called the Missile Man for that reason, Rocket Man. These are some of the nicknames he got because of his work. And surely as a president also, he was also called the People's President because he was so close to people and inspired young minds, young students, because he believed in learning and growing, right? So a very inspiring personality. And now let us discuss about another great mind, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He served as the 10th Prime Minister of our country. There were great achievements that India made under his prime ministership. Whether it was his economic policies, the nuclear tests, all these achievements, infrastructure development, golden quadrilateral that basically connects Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, that was built under his time. So many achievements he had as a Prime Minister, and obviously a very great poet as well. So great personalities, Abdul Kalam and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now let us move to the last main topic for this chapter, and that topic is the different forms of government. Now, in our country, we follow the democratic style of governance, right? Democracy is considered as the best form of government because it actually gives power to people. But what are the other forms of government? We will discuss about them. First, we have dictatorship. In a dictatorship form of government, all the power lies in the hands of the dictator. So he's that one person who is ruling by decree. Basically, whatever he or she decides happens for the entire country. So you might have seen this face in popular media, Adolf Hitler. He was the dictator of Germany in 1933, or rather from 1933 to 1945. And then there are other dictators also, like Mussolini from Italy. They all ruled as a single ruler deciding for the entire country. In a dictatorship form of government, we see that the people enjoy very less power. It is the leader who enjoys the absolute power in many cases. Now let's discuss about monarchy. Monarchy is another form of governance. Do you remember this face? She was Queen Elizabeth II. She ruled over England for 70 years, the second longest serving monarch. So what is a monarchy? In a monarchy form of governance, it is the queen or the king who are ruling the state. If you look at many monarchies, they are hierarchical in nature. It means that it is the son or the daughter of the monarch who becomes the next monarch, right? Now let us discuss democracy. Democracy is another form of governance. We already discussed that India is a democratic country. In fact, India is the largest democracy in the world. This term democracy comes from democratia. Demo means people and kratia means rule. So it is the rule of the people. In a democracy form of government, it is the people who are electing their own leaders, right? Representative democracy. See, India is a very large country. Ideally, we want that all the people should be involved in decision making. But unfortunately, it is difficult to carry that out. So, we elect leaders who actually take decisions for us. This is called representative democracy. If you look at the national level, we elect members of parliament. Basically, those people are going to serve as our leaders. They are going to sit in the Lok Sabha and they are going to take decisions on our behalf. Similarly, at the state level, we elect members of legislative assembly or the MLAs. And at the local level, we elect different, whether we are living in cities or villages, we elect the ward members who are taking decisions on our behalf, right? So we understand that democracy gives power to the people, and this is very important. It is not like monarchy or dictatorship where a single ruler is enjoying all the power. In a democracy, rather, the power is in the hands of people. And that is why we want to work on the concept of grassroots democracy. What does grassroots democracy means? It means that the local people are working to solve their own problems. They know at best what are the local resources available, what are the local problems, who are the local people who have the talents and the skills to solve those problems. So, democracy is about giving more and more power to people so that they can do things on their own and they're not dependent on the leaders to come and solve their problems, right? And this is why we consider democracy as the best form of government. See, this is why India has always been a democratic country since 1947, but if we look at countries which are in our neighborhood, some of them have struggled to ensure that democracy or rather democratic government is run properly. One such case is of Nepal, who has from time to time struggled to ensure that the democratic setup is maintained. In 2006, for example, the people of the country people of Nepal, they came together and protested against the monarchy so that they can restore democracy again. And you can see similarly in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, many other countries where people have demanded for democratic form of government. Why? Because it is the form of government which gives the common people all the power. So I hope through this video lecture you have understood in a better manner what government is, how it performs, what are the different levels, what are the different organs, and what are different forms or types of government. We have completed this chapter and I hope you enjoyed the video lecture. See you soon in our next video lecture. Thank you so much.